Hello, I'm Cameron Booth from the Children's Museum of Richmond, and today I have a fun and exciting art project for you to try out at home. We will be making our own paintbrushes to try and experiment with. For this activity, you need whatever you could find lying around the house. As you can see here, I have lots of different items I've assembled. I like to use clothespins. These are great for grabbing small things. A paper tube, different types of vegetation and plant life that I just found outside in my front yard. I have big leaves, small little leaves, little dandelion, long leaves. Now when you're assembling your items, you want to look for differences. They will make different types of strokes. I got a fork for my kitchen, a pan scraper, a pair of scissors. This is going to come in handy if we need to cut anything. A paper towel, string, rubber bands, and some aluminum foil. Now, you don't have to have this exact stuff. Again, you can use whatever you would like. So the first step in making your own paintbrushes is you just need to assemble them together. Some things are already made more readily, as this paper tube, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop a little piece of it off. All right, and I have this. Now you could dip this in the paint and just use it as circles, but as what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice along our edge and make a little ruffly edge. You always want to think about how it will be applied in the paint later. And we could fan these guys out. Always test it on your paper. It's pretty cool. I'll put this to the side. I'm going to grab one of my clothespins and start to put some vegetation in it. I love these little stringy guys. I think these are going to be really fun to use. And we're just going to put them onto our clothespin. There you go. It's a paintbrush. Put that to the side again. I have these big leaves. I'm actually going to take some of these guys off and stack them like so. Fan them out like that, kind of like you'll be painting with them. And I'm going to chop a flat surface, or better yet, we could even fold it over. There we go, fun. Always experiment. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Paintbrush number 3. With these guys, I think I'm just going to take a little rubber band and tie them off at the end. You don't always have to have a handle on your paintbrush. There we go. I'm just going to use a fork as a paintbrush. Why not? A pan scraper as a palette knife. Maybe we could drag some paint across our paper. We'll see how that works. We have our paint over here. We'll be using that a little bit later. Our foil. Maybe we could roll this up. And slice the edges just like we did our tube. Maybe use things that you find in your recycling bin. It's always good to recycle things. I'll put that on a little end of the... Alright, there we have that. And lastly, I will take this, I'm going to fold it up really firmly. Fold it over like that. That would be like a little dabber. Every material is going to give us a different stroke. I have all this string. I wonder if I could even use this. Let's try it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it in my hand. I'm going to wrap. right. So we have all of our paintbrushes created. Now is what I want to do is I want to get my paint ready. You could use any paint that you would like. I have 2 plates over here for me to put my plate on. You want a wide surface so you could dip your paintbrushes. And today I'm going to use some black paint so you could see all of my paint lines. Get a lot on there. You could always add more later if you don't have enough. And I'll use pink paint, one of my favorite colors. All right. So let's test out our paintbrush. And the first one I would like to use is our cardboard tube. And I just want to dip this in, get enough on there. Very cool. It's giving this these tiny little marks all around. Let's try dipping in the round end. Oh wow, look at that. There's a really cool mark. So this was made just by one tool. All right, I'm gonna put this to the side. I'm going to start to use a different paintbrush. Let's test out our aluminum foil next. Let's use our black for this. And we'll just dip, 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 dip. Very cool. Try dragging it. Ooh, that makes a weird noise. Put that to the side. Let's do some of our plants. Let's test out these little bitties. Very cool. Kind of making a similar line as the paper tube. Nice. As you can see, all these different types of paintbrushes are making different strokes. Now let's test one of the longer ones out. This one's hard to control. It's flowy lines. That is really cool. And what I'm gonna do really quickly is I'm gonna fold over one part of my paper so we can see the other strokes that we're making on our paintbrush. So you can see all the different lines we're making. All right, let's test out our leaves now. These are really cool. Each leaf's making its own different, unique stroke. Some are making wider strokes, and then we have these little guys down here that are making thinner strokes. That's another good one. All right, and the last one we'll test out is our string. We'll do this on our black paint. You want to do this in an area that you're not going to harm any of the surfaces, like a nice table. Maybe even try doing this outside since we're using so much plant life. Very cool. This one isn't the best one, but it is making very unique lines. And that's what this project is all about. How unique of a line we can make. Ooh, and I almost forgot about our flower. That's almost making a circular pattern. I like that one too. And then we also have our ready-made. So a fork and a little pan scraper. And for this, I will fold it over one more time so we could see what we're working with. This mimics the strokes of a palette knife, which artists use to get wide areas of color. That's really cool. And lastly, we got our fork, and I know exactly the line this is gonna make. Very cool. You can obviously tell that's a fork. Let's try dragging it like we did. Ooh, look at that. Very cool. So, this activity is very open-ended. You can make all different types of paintbrushes using materials you find outside. You don't need fancy paintbrushes to make an awesome painting. Art's all about exploration and discovery. I encourage you to try this at home with materials that you didn't see here. Thank you for joining me today, and be on the lookout for more activities from the Children's Museum of Richmond.